don't even know what I'm doing now. Ah! And cut. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 7 of the Modern Skein podcast. My name is Sharon Graff, and I am the owner of the Modern Skein, which is a yarn shop here in Montgomery, Texas. We specialize in hand-dyed, local and far-off lands, hand-dyed yarns, accessories, notions, handmade items, etc. So, if you follow our Instagram feed, which is at the Modern Skein, you will know that this is take 2 of episode 7 because yesterday, my normal day for filming the podcast, I filmed the podcast. It was great. I had such an awesome flow. It was wonderful. And then I had a bunch of errands I had to run afterwards. Buzz around town. Went home, uploaded it to my computer because I filmed this on my phone with a microphone. And go to start editing it. And this is like late in the afternoon. And realize that like 20 minutes in, the sound like cuts out. And then you have like a 5-minute delay on my voice and my mouth moving. And it was just awful. So, it was too late to film it again yesterday, and I really didn't want to. So, I'm filming this bright and early here in the shop, way before anybody else is here. So, I hopefully have enough coffee to get me through. We shall see. It's probably going to be a funny episode. I'll just leave it at that because it's early. I've already been up for several hours because I get up really early. But I'm not normally podcasting or having to get into work this early. So, yay! How I started off the original taping of this episode was thanking everyone for taking the time out of their schedules to watch this podcast. It really means a lot to me. So I thank you for subscribing, giving a thumbs up, liking the video, commenting and interacting with us on our social media feeds, which is at the Modern Skein. If you care and want to, you can follow my personal Instagram, which is at Mrs._Sharon_Graff. It's just my personal feed. I mean, you get to see more yarn, which is awesome, and our travels sometimes, so whatever you want. But thank you again for watching and for liking the content that I try to put out. This is me. I don't try and make it, I don't know, fake, scripted, perfect. This is just what you're going to get. So hopefully you like it. If you don't, please don't give me a thumbs down. That would be too sad. Okay, so finished objects. It's what I always like to start out the podcast with. And as you can see, I am wearing a finished object. See the full effect. So, get back up here. This is the Hayward Sweater. Just my microphone here. This is the Hayward Sweater by Julie Hoover. It's wonderful. I love it. The yarn that I used is Malabrigo Machita, which is a fingering weight single ply. Any fingering weight, either single ply or plied yarn will be fabulous. I also added a strand of kid silk mohair to my yarn, and which gave this really neat halo effect. And just makes it really soft and fuzzy. Yet you still have good stitch definition, as you can see. So it just really softens the sweater, makes it really nice and cozy without making it super hot. And I just really liked the look of the sweater. My only modifications to it was I knit it in the round. I just followed the instructions from Melissa at Espatrico. She posted in her project pages how she modified the pattern, And then the other thing I did was also lengthen the sleeves. When you finish the ribbing, which is 3 inches, the pattern calls for knitting 4 rows and then beginning the bind off and shortening for your raglan shaping. I knit, rather than 4 rows, I knit 20 rows and then continued the shaping. So it made the sleeve this much longer. If I knit this again, I will probably do 40 or 50 rows because it hits here. I would really prefer the length of the sleeve hit about here personally rather than here. Now that's probably really weird looking on camera and I apologize, but it works. I like it. Also really like the kind of boat neck that it has. It's nice and open. It's not claustrophobic-y. I don't like things all the way up here, so it's not off the shoulder. I can't really even, I mean, you can kind of make it off one shoulder, but it's not going to stay there. So anyway, I really enjoyed this. It's a great pattern, available on Ravelry. I want to say it's $6 or $7, somewhere around there. And it took right at about, I would say, for the fingering weight, I made the extra small. I made the smallest size. The hold on. Now let's see if I can think. I don't even know where I was going with that. I made the smallest size. Oh, how many skeins I used? I used just over 2 skeins, so I needed 3 skeins of my fingering weight. And then I used not even 2, so I guess technically 1.5. So you need 2 skeins of mohair silk. That was really, yeah, sorry. Anyway, for a size small, you need 3 skeins of fingering weight and 2 skeins of silk mohair if you're going to make what I made. That's the easy answer, and I tried to make it very complicated. Okay, so this is my only finished object this week. I have things that I have cast on. Yesterday when I filmed the podcast, I had not cast on one project, but I was about to, so I'll show you what I got done. But first off, as you know, I cast on, I guess last week, the Aura Shawl by Caitlin Hunter, which is this shawl here. Very pretty. And I am through the middle section now. So I'm using Pearl and Ply yarn. This is Secret Garden. And I always forget the name of this peach one. It's like Walk the Beach, something or other. Anyway, it's a pretty pinky, peachy color. And I'm now down to my bottom, my last section of stockinette, and then there's some ribbing, and then it's done. So this will be done most likely by next podcast, unless I get so carried away with my sweater knits that I just forget about it. But I'm so close to being done. I need to just whip this out. But you can see the really cool thing is this braided detail down the middle, which is actually way more visible. But this just takes 2 skeins of fingering weight yarn, 1 skein of each color for your main 2 colors. And then you just have these 2 little pops of color. I simply use scraps from my little scrap bin, leftover skeins. They're both skeins of Hedgehog that I used. And honestly, you can't even tell. I'm done with it for this pattern. You can't tell that I used hardly any of it. Probably you literally just use a few grams. I think she called for 2 mini skeins. Probably you could get away with like the little mini skeinettes from Anzula, or like the little pigtails over here. Or if you just have some scraps. Get 2 colors you like and then pair with your little scrap bin. what you might have already. So this is going to be a really fun pattern, and I'm enjoying it, and it's really fast. It's a very simple pattern. So if you want a really cool high impact shawl, but maybe you've never done cables before or never done any sort of lace before, this would be a great starter pattern because it's super simple, well explained, and the stitch patterns themselves are very, very simple. Okay, and then didn't get a lot of progress done on it, but I have my Rhapsody and Cable sweater from Joji Locatelli. And this is my progress so far. This is gonna take a while just because it's a lot. And so if you think, how is this gonna be a sweater? Is this like this? Is this, no. It's like so. So this is the neck hole. This is basically the front middle. This is a provisional cast on, not a design detail. And we're making the front portion at the same time as you make like the back yoke. So if you've done any sort of garment construction, you know, in a traditional sewn garment, you have your front, and usually, especially in any sort of dress shirt or even knit shirt, you have a back yoke piece and then the back piece. So this sweater has a very traditional shirt garment shape instead of a traditional sweater garment construction. That makes sense? It's really fun. I'm enjoying it. The yarn I'm using, it's not reading quite well on camera. It's more raspberry, plummy, and not so purpley. But it's Malabrigo Arroyo, which is technically a sport weight. I consider it to be more of a light decay. Her pattern calls for worsted weight. I, however, was not happy with the gauge that I was getting with the worsted weight yarns that I was wanting to use, and even changing needle sizes, it made either a stiff fabric or it just wasn't on gauge. So I went down. I really wasn't sure if this yarn would be too thin, but I'm able to get the exact gauge with the needles that she used, which is US size 6. Great stitch definition, and sizing seems to be on par with gauge and with the actual piece once it's in cables. So those as of yesterday, those were my only 2 works in progress. But yesterday I went home, and so about I guess it was about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, I cast on Tecumseh. This is a black and white photo, that's why it looks weird. But Tecumseh is a sweater by Caitlin Hunter. That is a colorwork sweater. And it's addicting. It really is. It is so fun to knit. I've knit colorwork before. Not in a sweater. I've knit colorwork cowls mostly. But this sweater is so fun. You just want to keep knitting the next row, the next row, the next row. So I'm almost through the second panel of colorwork. I'm trying not to drop any stitches, but yet show you what it's looking like. So obviously this is the neck. Then you have the first little colorwork section, and then this, let's see if I can get this, do it over by a needle. Press down. You can see this panel. And the colors aren't really reading perfectly on camera, but this is Malabrigo Dos Tierras. The blue is Paris Night colorway, which is actually the same colorway that is in this sweater. I love it. It's such the perfect gray navy blue. Now it looks on camera, this sweater reads almost like it has a purple undertone. It does not. It has more of a royal blue, navy blue. It's been brightened up with the strand of mohair that I held with it. So it's the same, the main color is the same color as this, but this does not have mohair stranded with it, so it has a more gray tone to it. This is just natural Dos Tierras. The colorway is natural, it's undyed, just so it's creamy white. And then this gold is a skein from U2 Yarns. It's 100% Polworth, and it's this really pretty mustard golden color. It's just so rich. And so with this color combo, I'm just loving this. It's gonna be so pretty. If I can swing going to Rhinebeck this year, which I might be able to. I just gotta look at my calendar and my husband's calendar. We might swing it. If we do, this is my Rhinebeck sweater. Because, like, wouldn't this be awesome? I've heard Caitlin Hunter's going. And then to wear this and meet her and take my picture with her wearing the Tecumseh. And then I could pull a Christy Glass and rip off my Tecumseh and have my Tegna underneath. And then whip that out and whip my Aura shawl out. Say, do I have any other? I think that's the only Caitlin Hunter patterns that I've knit or am knitting. That's it? Yes, I think so. But anyway, so this with them, let's see. So, squirrel. So anyway, I'm loving this knit. Come in, watch me finish this out. I'll probably finish this fast because this is so fun to knit, I'm telling you. I don't know why, but colorwork is so addictively fun. And colorwork is the hot thing for fall right now. All the patterns that are coming out, all the yarns that are coming out, all the dyers are switching over and doing, yeah, they're still doing speckles and bright colors, don't get me wrong, but they're starting to add more tonals and solids to their yarns because they know colorwork right now is the new hot thing. Speckles were the hot thing several years ago. They're still hot, yes, but colorwork is what's in. Not even, I mean, traditional colorwork, yes. Traditional colorwork is always popular, but colorwork like the Tecumseh, which is technically a traditional stranded colorwork, but with a modern motif. Colorwork as in two-color brioche. That's colorwork. In a way, it's not traditional colorwork by any means, but it is a form of colorwork because you're dealing with two colors. Double knitting, that's a form of colorwork. It's not traditional colorwork, but colorwork and non-traditional colorwork patterns are what's really popular for fall. So, all the things, knit all the things. I want to go to Rhinebeck. I want to go to Maryland Sheep and Wool. I want to go to New Jersey, Garden City, whatever it is. Anyway, I am hyped up. They must have put some extra espresso in here. Espresso. It's not espresso, it's espresso. I have been to Europe. I know proper pronunciation. And this episode is going to be on a rabbit trail. Okay. So, now that I have shown you my Tecumseh, that's the only other work in progress that I have right now. Because we don't talk about other things that might be in this basket. Because, you have works in progress and then you have UFOs that we don't talk about. One day I think I'm going to do a day, probably in this fall or winter, where I'm going to have everyone come up to the shop and bring like an old UFO that you have, an old whip that you either are not going to finish or you want to finish, and we all come up and we work on them, and we either work on them or we frog and rip them out and cheer each other on. I think that would be awesome. that also brings me rabbit trail to another point that I was making in the original filming of this podcast, which was that the point of me filming this podcast is to share with you guys what's going on in the shop. So yeah, my local people, they can watch still, obviously, but they can come in and chat and hang out in our sit and stitch and really feel like they're part of the community here, which is great. And I love having this community start to form. We're still a new shop, so it's forming and it's evolving and the groups are starting to meet here and it's awesome. But I also want, because we started online, and so a lot of our really diehard customers are online. You're not from Texas. Some of you guys aren't even from the United States. You're from Canada. You're from London. You're from the UK. You're from Australia. You're from, I'm trying to think of all the places I've shipped to, Switzerland. You're from Iceland. All those places. And I want you to feel like you're a part of the Modern Skein community. So that's why we have the hashtags, the Modern Skein Haul. Of course, not Shawlapalooza, Shawlmania. Shawlapalooza is another shop. Participate in that too if you want. But Shawlmania for us, if you use any skein of yarn and you finish a shawl from June through September, you get entered into win a drawing, a prize package. So participate in that. But anyway, I want this. Okay. Chill. Excuse me. If you want to see a normal podcast, please watch last week's episode because it's filmed in a normal, calm manner and it's not hyped up, overly tired, or anything else. Wow. Anyway, I want everyone to feel like they're part of the knitting community, and I think it's why we stay knitting, us knitters. We get into knitting because we want to learn a craft, or we see something and we want to learn how to do that or want to make that. But I think the reason we stay and become so diehard to the craft of knitting, crochet, anything in the fiber arts, spinning, weaving, etc., is the community that is built around knitting and the fiber arts and yarn, basically. So thank you for being a part of our community, the Modern Skein. You're welcome. We love having you a part of our community, and I sincerely thank you guys for watching, for coming and supporting the shop. You supporting this shop supports us, a family. It is. It's a small business. I now have an employee, so by shopping here, you support 2 families. That's pretty cool. I love small business shopping. Okay, rabbit trail, hopefully over. Now, a couple things that have come into the shop. I didn't get them. Pause. And we're back. So, not a whole lot of stuff has come into the shop this week. More stuff's on order. But this week we have restocked our exclusive Modern Skein colorway from Yarn Carnival. We have it on the 100% Superwash Merino 3-ply fingering weight yarn, which is 490 yards per skein. So they're very generous, amazing skeins. Yeah, so you can see that, but we also have the Modern Skein colorway now on DK. So that's fingering weight. This is DK. Excuse me. So this is a 115 gram skein of DK, so 250 yards of DK, 100% superwash merino. It is so soft and squishy. I'm telling you, it's amazing. So now I'm thinking sorry for the shaking. I'm thinking I'm going to change up yet again my Sunset Highway sweater that I still have not cast on. and use this as the main body. I just think this would be so cool because it's kind of navy blue and it's our custom color. And I already have a sweater out of our other custom color, the Twisted Owl custom color, which is really cool. So I could have a sweater out of both of our custom colors. So do this as the main body of Sunset Highway. And I think I can still use some of the contrast colors. I'll have to take a look and take a picture. And I'll share it with you guys. So we got that in. So that's available. It'll be going up on the website later today. I've just got a bajillion things to do to get everything up and running. I still have, you can't see it, but there's a pile of boxes of stuff that I took last week to the show in Huntsville, and Grace is coming in probably in a few minutes, and we are going to try and put the shop back together. So if you haven't, another rabbit trail. If you have not been in the shop lately, I've hired an employee. Her name is Grace, and she actually comes to us as she started as the instructor for our she started as the instructor for our beginning knitting classes. Grace actually used to work in a yarn shop years ago called Yarntopia in Katy. Unfortunately, that store closed down, but I reached out after, working with her, and she was really excited and willing to come on as part-time help. So she has been working in the store, and you'll be seeing her friendly face. She's great, super knowledgeable, really helpful. If you've got questions, need pattern help, support, things like that, she's more than happy to help you out. So come in, say hi to Grace, say hi online by commenting "Hi Grace" on any of our posts or on this YouTube video, which would be awesome. Let's see. She also has a podcast. So if you watch Cat Knit Podcast, that is Grace. So check it out. She talks about her kitty cat, which is so cute, and knitting and yarn and all the things. Okay, the other thing new, which will be going on the website later today, hopefully, if they don't sell out today, is these Licky needle sets, or Licky needle sets. And this is the umber color. So it's not showing up super well on the camera, but instead of the traditional gray and black, the cap here is an espresso brown, and the needles themselves are a really rich umber brown color. They're really rich and beautiful. It comes with the traditional sets of cords, so I think 5 or 6 cords that you get with it, and then size US 4 through 17 for your needle sizes. So quite generous. It's $125, great for Christmas gifts or splurging for yourself, whatever you'd like. I only have two, I guess it's a kit. 2 needle sets. That's the word I'm looking for. Sets. 2 needle sets in the umber left. I'm getting more sets along with more minis coming in hopefully later this week. Some of the needles have been on back order, so if you're looking for a specific size, I may or may not have it. I'm simply waiting for more sizes to come in if you're looking for individual needles or for needle tips for interchangeable cords. So that's all that's come in new this week, but I did want to spotlight a couple products that you might not be aware of. One is we sell soak in the store, so soak wash. This is perfect for blocking your knits because you don't have to rinse it. Most people are familiar with soak already, but we have all the, I'll say flavors, all the smells, all the scents. Some of my favorites are fig. This is fig right here. Celebration and lacy. And if you're not sure if you're going to we have the little smell testers that you can smell, but if you're still not sure if you'd like that on your knitted garment, we have the little $1 individual packages. So like little samples, perfect for a one-time block of a garment. So you can grab a couple of those and test it out on your next couple knits. And then if you fall in love with it, we have the travel size or we have the full-size bottles. Full size obviously is the best bang for your buck. But if you don't knit a lot or don't block all of your knits. That's not very good. You should block all of your knits. But anyway, you can always start out with a trial size or even the travel size. Or you can get a couple of different ones. You can do whatever you'd like. The other thing I want to share is this book. This is Knitting Outside the Box from Bristol Ivy. So if you haven't seen this book before, it is a pattern book, but it's so much more than that. It's also taking your knitting to the next level. So she walks you through step by step some different techniques that are kind of like beyond regular knitting, and then tips and tricks on having proper fitting garments. Then there's patterns to go over each of the techniques that you've learned. Plus, then in the back, there is a stitch dictionary of really neat stitches, so you can basically make your own pattern or modify, add a new texture to a pattern. So if you're wanting to take your knitting kind of to the next level, I think this book is amazing. So I have a couple copies of this left. It is hardcover. That price on the back is in pounds, so where's my price sticker? Oh, I maybe used the barcode. I want to say it's 30 something, maybe like 32, 35. Don't quote me on that, but it's on the website, of course, in the store as well. So that's a really good book to have in your yarn book library. And then this book. So I think a lot of people look at this and are just confused by what this is, because there's not really anything on the front except this the sheep. But this is a book called Farm to Needle, and it basically walks you through step by step the history of different farms, ranches, mills, things like that in America, and the process of getting your beloved yarn to you. What is involved with raising sheep and all that kind of stuff. Plus there's patterns. I think there's 8 or 9 patterns in this book for different items. There's crochet even. So there's crochet, there's knit, there's small little accessories, there's full-on garments in here. So this is just a really cool coffee table type book to put out, especially maybe if some of your family thinks your knitting is weird. It kind of gives you a little history and heritage behind, the craft of needles and wool, not needles, but wool and garment making and things like that. So I think it's a really cool book. It's $29. And again, think of it as a book, not just a pattern, book, because sometimes people are like, oh, pattern books, I'd rather get it on Ravelry. For one, both of those, they do come with download codes to put the patterns either on your computer in PDF form or directly into your Ravelry account. But number 2, they're books. They're really great. I still love old-fashioned books, so that's me. The other thing, we still have a couple mugs left from Polly Studios. Our next order should be coming in the fall. But until then, these make great little gifts. Stick a thing of yarn in it, and you've got an awesome little gift for maybe a knitter friend's birthday or Christmas if you want to go ahead and start Christmas shopping. It's July, but it's 6 months away. So this one says yarn is cheaper than therapy. I love this one. I also have one that says no skein, no gain. I've got 1 yarn bowl left. And again, we'll be getting more of those in the fall in time for Christmas. And then this, if you want a smaller mug, this is our Modern Skein mug. This is dishwasher and microwave safe, as is this, although I prefer to hand wash mine. But this is dishwasher and microwave safe. Holds right about a cup, I guess, of coffee. It works great. I love it. Kind of reminiscent of campfire mugs, so it's really fun. Makes a great little gift as well. Or if you're coming in from out of town and want to get a little souvenir specific to the shop, this is a great one. We also have Modern Skein stitch markers. And we have custom project bags that are handmade specifically for our shop. It's the only place you can get them, that you will ever get them. Trying to think. Of course, we carry Red Stag yarn, which is basically our own label yarn. It's not really. It's dyed by my husband, but anyway. I think that's all I was going to share with you guys. Yeah. We'd love to see you come into the shop. Thank you guys for taking the time to watch this very spastastic episode. Really look forward to seeing you guys come into the shop. Leave your comments on YouTube. I'll be happy to answer them. And thanks for joining us on episode 7. It's been a blast. I'm so excited that people are watching this. Thanks so much. We'll see you later.